touching the football, the greater my chances are for him to kick the net, him to have a meltdown. So that's what I'm going to do. But Freddie, I believe, will do an even better job than what the defense is trying to do of taking Odell away. Odell production on the field is unquestioned. Since he's entered the league, he's third in yards, third in touchdowns. The only issue is injuries, which we've seen surface over the last couple of years. He even started his career. Remember, he missed the first 4 games of his career because of that hamstring injury, and then came out with a bang because over those next, 12 games, he was Offensive Rookie of the Year. So we know what he can do. His production is unquestioned. The only issue is injury and what happens when he doesn't get the ball, Skip. Those are his 2 issues. Those are what he's going to have to overcome. A lot of people maybe gave him the benefit of the doubt. Well, maybe it was Coach Coughlin, maybe it was Ben McAdoo, it was Sherman, it was Eli. He no longer will receive that because guess what? He doesn't have Sherman. He doesn't have Eli. He doesn't have Coughlin. He doesn't have Ben McAdoo. He's in a new situation. He's in a new home. He says his mind, he says his heart, he says his whole soul is at ease. Now, we need to go see him play the way we know he can play. I've never had an issue with Odell Beckham's production. I've never had an issue. I've had issue with some of the things, how he behaves, and I still, to this day, have an issue with that. Hopefully, that's behind him, and he can be the Odell Beckham that we know he can be when that's a top 5 receiver.
Okay. So you say you are optimistic.
Yes.
And the harder I look at this and the more I think about it, I am now highly pessimistic about Odell working in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
What did you say after you read Mark Anthony Green's piece that we got the exclusive on last Monday in GQ? You said that he
is what
was
we thought he is.
Terminally selfish, right?
Yeah.
And yet you're saying you're optimistic. For that, cautious.
Can I be cautiously optimistic?
Yeah, you can. Okay, I'll give you that. You know, I'm cautiously pessimistic because I root for Baker like crazy, and I want this to work for Baker because they do have the potential to be a surprise football team. They do have a loaded roster. And I do want Baker to be, he's now tied, we're going to talk about this in a few minutes, but he's tied in the MVP odds with Tom Brady, okay?
What that do?
Not bad.
Okay? Okay. What are you telling me? Wait, are you saying Brady's washed up?
Skip, I didn't say anything. Go ahead and make your point.
By the way, I forgot to ask you about your opening salvo. You have all these issues with women. I don't understand it. Every day there's another issue with another woman.
Skip.
You're always breaking up. I don't know. I don't get it.
We were both sick.
I don't know.
Sick.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened.
It happens. Glad
I'm not like you. You know, you fall in love with first woman and, and level up.
I have nothing to boast about in that category. Back to Odell. When I finished Mark Anthony Green's piece, I said, this young man has gone over the edge into egomania, into me-ism. He hasn't matured. He has actually lost more perspective than ever on the game he plays and what really should matter to him. Because what mattered to you was to win that trophy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you had 3 cracks at it, and you won 3 of them. And it wasn't all because of you, but you certainly contributed, and you were a leader, if not the leader, of 3 Super Bowl teams. Leadership is the farthest thing from Odell Beckham Jr.'s mind right now. Because he is the new T.O. in the National Football League. Very different receiver than T.O., much better. But Terrell never quite could get it through his head that it's not about you starring, it's about the team winning.
Correct.
It's not about stats, it's about dubs, right? In the end, you were about dubs, and Odell is still about stats. And I got to refer one more time to the most shocking quote in Mark Anthony's piece was, he said, so you want to play for what, 10 more years? He said, well, maybe 10 or until I pass Jerry. Past Jerry, he's got 23,000 yards. Your biggest year was 1,450. So if you career year it for 12 straight years, that's what you're gonna have to actually be a little better than career for 12 straight to catch and pass Jerry Rice. But that's warped viewpoint of what you've lost all perspective on who you are and what it all should mean. And when I read the opening detail that he actually has a chrome figurine of the catch on as the hood ornament of his new rolls, which just happened to be sort of tangerine orange, Browns colors. Then I said, he's lost it, man. And now that he has been shipped from the Big Apple to a city that has been called, at various points, the mistake by the lake.
Yeah.
And again, the quotes yesterday were all peace and love. It's all great. That was the first camp practice, and we are 44 days away from opening Sunday when they face the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, you said a lot of things can happen between
a lot of
now
things
and
can
then.
happen. And what I predict is the recipe for disaster is his relationship with his soulmate from LSU, Jarvis Landry. As close as they are, they play the same dependent position. And you say, yeah, but they'll figure it out because they love each other. Well, you and your girlfriend, you're both sick, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you thought you loved each other. I think you thought you loved each other for a while.
It was young, it was puppy love.
Puppy love. Okay, I got it.
19,
I got it. Okay. Well, but you think at that time you love each other.
Yeah.
This could be puppy love between Jarvis and Odell because they don't really know what's going on. So let's look at Jarvis's last 2 years. 2 years ago in Miami, he led the National Football League in catches, 112.
Yeah.
And then last year, he led the Browns by far in catches with 81, a lot less than 112. But his yards per catch went up last year from 9 in Miami to 12 in Cleveland.
Right.
So his yards were almost the same the 2 years. He is used to getting the rock. Right? Throw him the candy, Baker Mayfield, because that's what he does for a living.
Right.
Well, now you've got the ultimate stat machine over on the other side. And what do you always tell me? If he doesn't get X for a buck, X, right?
Yep.
He's just not happy.
Right.
Win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter unless he gets his numbers.
Yeah.
Baker doesn't have enough footballs to keep those two happy and then win games by throwing some to Njoku and a few others to Antonio Callaway, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to spread the ball in this league.
And Nick Chubb's going to get 300, 250 carries.
Okay.
And then when Kareem Hunt comes back, he's going to get a few catches and a few carries. That's the, people ask, well, would you have liked to play with your brother? No. He's the number one receiver, Skip. They're going to throw him he caught his last 3 years, he averaged catching 107 balls a year.
And he's your brother.
Yeah, they're going to throw him 160 balls.
Okay.
They can't throw him 160 and throw me 100 and then throw, everybody else 75, 80. No. Let him be over there.
Okay.
The thing is, Skip, is that Odell, maybe he does. But Odell says, you know what, A.B., Julio, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, we're in that niche. So if Odell plays the late game, these guys are playing when Odell's driving to the stadium.
Yep.
Okay, when the game's over, he looks up there, Julio got 300. A.B. had a $189. A.J. Green had 165. Oh,
Jarvis has already caught 8 balls today? What's going on? Huh?
He'll know.
You lose it, Skip.
Okay, thank you.
It's trust me. Because I was a guy, and I knew what Tony was doing. I knew what Ben Coates was doing, all these guys. And I'm like, man. And I'm just like, woo. And here it is, the second quarter. We start the second quarter. I ain't got a pass. They ain't throw one my way. Yay.
Okay. So Odell says after yesterday's first camp practice in Cleveland, Ohio, I feel settled in my heart, in my mind, in my body. I'm settled into where I'm at, and I feel like I belong after one camp practice in Cleveland, the city that he called out there when he was talking about it from Manhattan. That out there. What happens? You all have any good restaurants out there?
Skip, it's good. I see you're not from the South, but you get sweet tea or lemonade. When that sugar settle in the bottom, man, that thing busting then. So Odell said he's settled. So that means he's going to have a good one.
Really? So then Odell was talking about the love he was feeling from the Cleveland fans at practice yesterday. And this really threw me. But he said, I've told you all before, I'm a real empath. And I went to Vanderbilt, and I'd never heard that word before, but I'm not a sci-fi guy.
Right.
I'm a real empath. I know empathy, but I don't know empath as a noun. I'm an empath. So I looked it up, and it's a science fiction term for someone with paranormal ability to know the mental and emotional feelings and thoughts of another human, okay? So he's saying that he can feel it from the fans for real, like he can look inside your mind and feel your heart, and he's an empath. And I'm like, I don't know, this guy's way out there now.
So let me ask you a question, Skip. So after he made that catch, what do he think the Giants fans were? Could he feel the emotion? Could he feel the love that they were showing him?
I'd
And
say.
they continue to show him.
Okay.
And there were some that still would go to bat for Odell and said, even after they got rid of Coughlin, they was like, it was Coughlin. Okay, they got rid of him. It's McAdoo. They got rid of McAdoo. It's Sherman. So the only thing now, so now everybody